So Kaizen issue 41 sort of turned into two parts because I had a lot to say on the issue. Um, so it was just sort of like a personal shift that happened with me, obviously, and like a part of myself that I'd realized had always sort of been there that I had neglected, and that voice in the back of my head that I had just sort of ignored. And this issue was just sort of me kind of just dumping out everything that's been on my mind relating to spirituality and that sort of like voice in the back of my head that I had been neglecting. And not only that, but how it connected to vulnerability and sort of the emotional work that I've been doing over the past year, but more intentionally and more authentically over the past month or two. Um, and I'm just curious as to where the issue landed with you when you read it and how it connects to your own personal experience.
So I think so basically you're asking like when did I connect?
How did you connect to the issue? And is there some part of it that reminded you of a point in your journey or your experience? Or was it more just about learning
Life
where I'm
lessons.
coming from?
Yeah, I think it connected with me in the sense that I was your age when I started to explore. I started to wonder,
Hmm.
curious. Um, oh man, to put it to my journey's been 50 years.
Yeah.
I started 50 years ago when I was like 10. So it's hard to put it to a certain
Yeah.
time. I your I love your newsletters. They do resonate with me. Like, do you want to know part of my journey, like, or how I started?
Yeah, you can share whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable sharing.
I
Both.
was always curious,
Yeah.
even before I was younger. Um, I had a hard time being with friends and people. Um, I think at an early age, I could feel people's energy. I could feel people's sadness, happiness. So I learned at an early age to be a loner. Um, but I don't think like your journey is incredible, but I never came to a realization of, just letting go of things, and I don't know how to explain it properly.
You're saying that like my journey is mine, so it's
Yeah,
hard to connect with on the same way.
yeah, everybody's journey is different. Mine, I feel, has unfolded and then it stops for a while.
Hmm.
I had an incredible upbringing. I was introduced to this spiritual world and emotion and feeling and vulnerability at the age of 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
And then you get on and involved with life, and then it stops for a while. But I know the day when I really started to believe in the universe and guardian angels, and I remember the moment it happened. Want to hear about that?
Yeah, sure.
I was 17 years old, and I was driving over the Malahat like a 17-year-old boy. I was going way over the speed limit, playing with the radio, wasn't watching what I was doing. And I looked up, and there was a car stopped. And I was probably doing over 100 kilometers an hour. I did not move the steering wheel. I felt something move the steering wheel for me. I went around the car, back around another car and avoided the accident. And from that moment on, I knew something was looking out for me. I knew there was something else out there than just me and my family and school and my friends. So that's when I started letting go and wondering and exploring and yeah.
Being okay with not having all the answers.
Yeah, just I was always taught never to figure out the answers. Always ask for what you want and then just let it go. Don't
Hmm.
give resistance. Never, like my whole, yeah, there's been times in my life I forgot that because you get involved in relationships. You become a father, you become involved in life, in the world of the world of
The material.
yeah. And then something brings you back to your childhood and like, oh my God, yeah. And, I've always felt calm in nature. I always felt calm by myself. I never feel calm around people. I feel like I can't sit or be in the same room. I learned to be by myself, be alone with my uncomfortableness, never avoid it because it gets you nowhere.
Hmm.
I've learned to be in horrible fear and discomfort of things in my life, but I was taught to stay with it. And that's how I was taught to meditate. You know, I always thought meditation was supposed to calm you down and you're supposed to be quiet, but it's the total opposite. It's we can never quiet our mind, but to be able to be with the uncomfortableness and be with the
Sit in the storm.
sit and stay in the storm. So many people can't stay in the storm, but staying in it just, and you welcome it in, but you got to let it go. And yes, it might come back, but you'll recognize it faster.
Hmm.
And that brings me back, being a father, having a young child. And then for years I forgot all about it again. And then there's certain things. So there was another thing in life that happened to me that brought me back to spirituality. I was driving my son to a hockey tournament in Campbell River. And after Duncan, we were starting to laugh because we were hitting every red light up the island, every red light, every intersection. It was like, oh my God, another red light, another. We got outside of Nanaimo, more, hit every red light going through Nanaimo. And then we veered off and I stopped and got us some water. We took care of, got some gas in the truck and hit the road again. And 10 minutes up the road, 15 minutes up the road was a horrible accident. Horrible accident. The police weren't there yet. There was a bus. I don't know how many cars were involved. There was people off the road. Well, I didn't think much of it then, but that night when we got checked into our hotel room, I sat with it for a while and I realized that if I probably wasn't stopped by those red lights and stopping for fuel and delaying myself, as frustrated as I was sometimes, I might have been in that accident. Something made me stop and slow down and probably saved me from being in that accident. So from that time forward, every time I have to stop at a red light or it takes me an hour to get through town, I'm like grateful. I'm thankful. I've learned to be thankful and grateful for that for my 17-year-old experience to my 37-year-old experience of that accident. Yeah, was certain things in my life that brought me back to realizing how lucky I am. There's I truly believe that every day I get up, I have an angel and a guardian that's just there for me. They've been there since I was a kid. And I don't know how many times a day I'm grateful for just being here, waking up every day and making it better. But that was my journey. Those were a few experiences that made me really go, whoa, okay. There is somebody looking out for me. There is, and they're teaching. Every day, even stopping at all the red lights, it was a teach. Something was teaching me to slow down. Spending more time with my son in the truck. And now, at my age I am now, every day is learning, being grateful for what I learned that day, as frustrating as I get. At night when I go home and I sit in the dark and I close my eyes and meditate for a while, I go through my day, what made me frustrated, what am I learning? What am I to learn from this? What am I to learn with the different people I interact with every day? And I'm so grateful for everything it's been hard. Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's how I woke up and realized there was something else other than just us people in the world. My lessons they weren't near death experiences, but they were enough to make you go, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all have a different journey.
I think that's the main difference with where I'm at, as I was talking about in the newsletter, because I'm sort of at this well, I called it a threshold, I called it orbiting a black hole, where I'm just sort of waiting but not forcing, and curious but not, I don't know if seeking is the right word, but just I'm like in between conceptual understanding and emotional openness and an actual felt experience of some kind where it's really solidified within me. And that's sort of like that was where I sort of opened up with this issue with the section called Only in Theory, where it's like there's a difference between knowing about something and actually knowing it directly. And I think a lot of philosophy is that way, where you can read a quote. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I might have read the same quote that I read last week, but last week it hit completely differently because it's connecting with my current experience in a completely different way. Whereas maybe the last time I read it, it just passed me by. Like, you never read the same book twice, because every time you read, even if it's the exact same page, exact same sentence, you are different in that moment, and your connection to whatever the lesson is or the quote is different. And that's how it is with philosophy, but I think it's the exact same way with spirituality, is that you can have understanding of what it might be like, but it won't hit you in the same way until you've had some sort of experience that you can't explain.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm just sort of in this
You don't need to figure it out.
openness to waiting for it to happen. I'm not impatiently trying to rush it or anything. I know I can't force it to happen, but the realization I've made is that I'm open to it happening now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know what pathway it'll be, how it'll happen.
That's the fun
when it'll
part.
happen. That is the fun part,
That's the fun part.
but
Don't,
yeah, that
yeah,
was just me describing like where I'm at.
yeah. I never experienced that. I don't think I thought as deep as you. Mine were aha moments.
Mm.
And yeah, it's
So
not,
you came in with experience first, maybe.
well, my grandmother was wise, right? I mean, yeah, she taught me things that weren't as, well, we could say, wasn't book smart or what it was. It was practical, growing up as a little girl, having lots of siblings. And she was just a very grounded person. And she held space for me. And she was curious. If I'd come home from school and I was frustrated, she was never there to fix me. She was there to just let me talk
Mm-hmm.
and figure out the whole, the mystery. And to never try to figure out your journey, just ask for something. I want to know what my learning lesson is. Like, well, what was I supposed to learn last week? And then just let it go, because it might not be clear for you in a week, a month, but it will. You know, have no resistance to anything. Just be open. Just say, here I am. Just teach me, guide me, and then give it back and let them teach you the way they want. The universe teach you and guide you. Don't, it's not for us to figure out. We can have questions, but again, we got to slow down with the giving the resistance. You know,
Mm-hmm.
don't, your journey is going to be, I can't wait to see your journey. It's going to be pretty cool. But don't, just be.
Yeah.
Live in the now, live in the day, live in the gratefulness, live in the family you have and the friendships, and just, that's your learning. Because when you're not trying to figure it out, it'll be shown.
Mm.
I if I need, well, we'll just use this for an example. Let's say I have $6,000 in truck maintenance due. I need new tires. I need to do this. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, okay, I need $6,000. I did that last year. I needed new brakes. I needed new tires. I just moved out on my own, you know, and I went, okay, universe, I need $6,000. 4 days later, I quoted on a job. It was 8 grand. Just came out of nowhere. I didn't need to figure it out. It just, and my whole life has been that way. I've never had to worry about money. I've never had to worry about, I have just learned to trust. Ask for it and it'll just show up.
Mm.
I have proven that over and over. You know, I'm 61 right now, and I've been doing this since I was really 15. I need this amount of money for my bike, or by 15, 16, growing up on a farm, I had motorcycles, and my grandparents, they weren't going to pay for it, so I was like, okay, I got to raise $100 for something. And a neighbor would phone and say, hey, I got some firewood that needs splitting, or sheep that need shearing. And would just, all of a sudden, these people would just phone, and this money was just coming my way. I never was like stressed about it. I've just learned to ask for it and it'll show up. You want knowledge and you want proof, or you know something to pop in front of you, just leave it alone. They knows what you want. Just
Let it come.
let it go. Just, you can read and have knowledge and grow, but don't figure out how it's going to get there. How it comes is the great part of the journey. I stopped figuring things out 40 years ago, easily 40 years ago. If I need something, it just shows up.
Hmm.
I want good health. I don't get sick. I want to be happy. I don't worry about anything. I want to make people feel good. I show up and I hold space. I don't worry about how I'm going to be for people. I've just learned to show up and be myself, be authentic. It's another thing I've learned at an early age. I was asked the most hardest and most difficult question my entire life when I was 30 years old, maybe 30. A counselor said to me once, we were in a business group round table kind of thing, and he said, he'd go around the table and he's like, Zach, what do you want? Oh, I wanted X and I want Y. Oh, when it finally got to me, it says, so what does Scott want? And it was like, I'm like, what does Scott want? I was, what do you mean, what does Scott want? I'm like, what do you mean, what does Scott want? I started to get upset about it. I'm like, well, there's really nothing I want. And they're like, no, everybody wants something. And I'm like, I, I'm happy. I have food. I have a beautiful place I'm living in. I have a vehicle. I have a job. What do I need? Oh, you got to want something else. Rich and famous. And it's like, no. I want to be, the only thing I could really think of eventually was, I don't know, I just want to be me. I want to be authentic. I want to be real. I
Keep
want
doing
to,
this.
yeah, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because yeah, I've been, through the years, I've been referred to as a very calming individual. When I'm sitting in a group of people, my energy's calm. And I think I can be that. I can live with that. That's, yeah. I want I want to be healthy so I can, live to be an older age and love my grandchildren, but I don't need anything else. I'm happy. Yeah, it was really hard. That was a struggle. So just let things happen
Yeah.
for you. You've got a gift, man. You're going places, but you don't need to figure it out. You really don't. Like,
Thanks.
yeah, don't figure it out. Just be you.
Yeah.
Be vulnerable. Be authentic. Ask for what you want, and if you want to be, powerful YouTube channel, you want to grow, that's what you ask for. And then it's not for you to figure out. Just let it go out to the universe and just move on to your next project or move on to your next. Just let things flow the way they need to. Because if you try to figure it out, it ain't going to come to you. That
Yeah.
I've proved to myself lots.
Ask the question, it'll find its way to you.
It's right. Don't stop figuring stuff out. Because when
Yeah.
I started figuring stuff out, my world slowed down. But right now, I wouldn't change anything in my life. My past life experiences are experiences that I learned from them. We grow from them. We all have a different path. We all have a different journey. And yes, it's going to be frustrating. And it's going to be hard. And yeah, there's been times where I've wanted to cry. But again, I usually walk away going, what was I to learn? It was to learn this and not give, Some of my frustrations is because I'm a happy person, I became a people pleaser. And that destroyed me, because then I learned how fast people can take advantage of you. So that was another hole I had to climb out of. But I learned.
Mm.
We learned boundaries. We learned strict boundaries. Yeah, people can say you got to have boundaries. But what does that mean?
Mm.
So I learned to have boundaries, strict boundaries for myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't think too much. Oh, yeah. I get the whole, I get the wanting to know why. Letting go, perfect. Feeling, absolutely stay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to feel.
The knowing why is just, it's been sort of my primary
Mm-hmm.
modality for a long time. I love learning things for the sake of learning things. I love knowing why things work the way they do. I love picking apart the ideas. And I think that's why, I'm drawn to math, computer science,
Mm-hmm.
um, just science as a whole, really, but philosophy, like just getting to the truth of how things actually are.
But your life experiences will give you that, because later on, being the knowing why, you can come back when you got experience and go, now I know why that happened and I understand why that happened.
Yeah.
And then you can learn that, yeah, I learned that and I accepted that. And they gave that to me because I let it go. I almost forgot about it. So the knowing why will come later, I think, once you've experienced what you're going to learn.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know. I just let go and did my journey. I was told there's going to be doors slammed on you, and when one door slams, two more are going to open. Just keep walking.
Mm.
Pick up the struggles and don't. I had to learn not to drag the past with me.
Yeah.
A lot of us get stuck in the way of, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that, and resentments, and you know. But I just learned to let go of the rope. I see it as everything I've learned in life that has tripped me up, or I feel has stopped my momentum for a while, I was dragging with me
Yeah.
until I learned to just let go of the rope. And what happened in the past is in the past. There's nothing I can do about it now. Why am I worrying about it? Because it's not helping. So then I've learned to
The
why worry
moment's,
about it,
yeah.
because does it help?
The
It does.
moment's gone.
Yeah, it is. And as soon as I learned years ago to let go of the rope, it's okay, because they were all lessons. It's made me the person I am today.
Yeah. The way I think about it is like, forgiving myself if I feel like I made a mistake or I'm regretting something, because I know I was doing the best that I could at the time, and I still am doing the best that I could.
Mm.
But even if the best that I could was out of alignment with who I want to be, looking back on it now, I can see the lesson it brought me, or I can see what happens when I do act out of alignment, and then I can use that as a lesson for now.
There's your whys and your wants, right? Your way to figure it out.
Yeah.
Your curiosity. Yeah.
But one of the biggest challenges of getting deeper and deeper into philosophy and self improvement is something that I kind of just didn't want to accept as true for a while, was just that some lessons I can't learn until they come. I can't learn, I can't maximize my wisdom. Well, I can maximize my wisdom at my certain age, but like it's capped with time and experience. And there's some things that I just can't learn no matter how hard I try unless I experience them or go through them or, have years to look back on.
The way I look at that is, well, I did. Do it at your age. Run full out, make mistakes, fall, scratch your knees, get back up. It's the getting back up that makes you the strong. It's the, I think a lot of part of my life, I didn't wait. I believed in what I believed in and I just went full out. I made mistakes. Got sad and I got frustrated, but I got right back up and I learned from them. Success is, to me, is the keep going part. I didn't let very many things trap me for very long. I learned from it. Because of the way my brain works with my dyslexia and stuff, my reading and writing skills aren't very good, but my mechanical aptitude is great. So I pull things apart mechanically and figure it out quickly. And I wanted to make mistakes. Because I thought every time I jumped ahead, made a mistake, went on a wrong date, took the wrong job, made the wrong decision, I was going to better myself. And I did. Yeah, it hurt and sucked sometimes, but there was sometimes I was in a hurry. I wanted to learn. And I was taught the best way to learn is fall. Get back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. The people are like, oh my God, that's enough, and world sucks, and people suck, and I'm going to stop at the liquor store and go home. Great, live that life. That's what you want, but I want to learn. I want to grow. I've proven to myself that there's something else out there that teaches you and guides you. And I want more of it. So welcome in the mistakes, welcome in the stumbling, and welcome all that in, because it's just going to make you better, stronger, more wise, and then it's going to open up yourself for the philosophy part more of it, and the stuff that you love, getting into the bread and butter of it. Go out and make the mistakes, man. Have the crappy dates, have the first, second jobs, the third jobs, the jobs that are terrible, and the people in the jobs. Experience all that, because what you get out of it is more powerful than any book can teach you or you can read about. Buy the car that doesn't run well and keeps breaking down. Just get in the muck and stay there, and don't let it defeat you. That's what's going to build you. And I did. There's a lot of times I could sit and go, oh, my life sucked, or but it happened for a reason, because it's made me who I am today. When you get my age, this is going to sound funny. The other day I was thinking, 61. Oh my God, I'm getting old. I remember my 20s. I remember my 30s. I remember when I did this. But you know what? I figured out today, I'm actually starting to live. I feel like I'm a child again. I feel like I'm actually can live my childhood right now. Yeah, like life is good right now. It's better than it's ever been. Yeah, I'm 61, but I'm still in good shape. I'm still strong for, I can work. I just go out there, man. That's all I can say to you is go live. Take it on. Take everything you can get and be excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's going to hurt. Oh, it is. Like heartbreak hurts. It's horrible. But there's a lesson there. Being a father is a lot of work and it's challenging, but it's worth it because I learned a lot about myself. Yeah, there's times you want to give up, but don't. Believe me.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But I'm here right now with you because I'm excited to see you in a few years. Just in the short time I've known you, how much you've grown. but don't read the books and get the knowledge. But if I can give you any advice, just go and live right now. Go and date, go and fall, go and stumble and hurt and feel the pain, because that's going to teach you more than any classroom and any book. Feel the heartache and feel the success and feel the wins and feel the good friends and the enemies. And you're going to have people in your life that are going to challenge you, but we come in and out of each other's lives to teach each other, because we all bring something different. We're all completely different. It's like every rock in the world is not the same. That goes for us too. I come into so many people's lives and out of so many people's lives because I bring something a little different. I've learned something a little different. Just go and do that. Don't try to figure it out. Just go and live.
Yeah.
Go and live. Your podcast, your writing is awesome. Like, you are gifted. But go and live. Don't be afraid. Go get hurt. Go get pushed. Go get used. Do whatever it is. Just welcome it all in, because it's all learning, and take something away from it. Everything that's going to be thrown in front of you, ask yourself, what can I learn from that?
Yeah.
What do I feel from that?
What's the lesson in it?
Yeah, it's all.
Everything
is a lesson. Everything is a lesson. Every miserable person that I've met in my life, that most people are like, oh my God, like I could strangle that person. I look at it as, why was he just put in front of me? Why is he yelling at me? Did his wife and him just separate? Did somebody in his family pass? Because he's not there for me. It's not a road rage. I just happened to be there where he needed to release. What I learned from that is I can take it. Sometimes people are just yelling and screaming and angry, but it's like, wow, I just really hope your day gets better.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I probably punched the guy.
Yeah.
But I've just learned that that's a lesson, or he was put in front of me so I could give him some calmness. Maybe just settle him down a little bit before he went off and caused an accident, or maybe did hurt somebody. He was put in my path for me to slow him down or slow her down. Or it's an incredible journey. And especially in the last, I want to say really the last 15 years, when I've really kind of felt and figured it all out, I've had fun.
Or not figuring it out.
Yeah. So sorry, you're not figuring out, but I've had fun, because when I come back and sit with it or meditate with it, see, when I meditate, it's not quieting your brain or your mind, because you can't. There's no such thing. My meditation is to sit in the quiet, and I usually will have some, spa music in the background, or I have something that kind of just calms the energy in the room. But I go throughout my day. Why was X put in front of me, or why was this, I was doing a job and it gave me trouble, and I've done this type of job 100 times, but why today wasn't it? Why didn't it work out? So it's usually like, if I back up a few days, or a week later, I'm like, oh, that's why that happened. It all connects. And it's just letting it be. Right, not figuring it out. Don't figure it out. Be specific of what you want, and then just let it go.
Yeah. I think when you ask the question, what do you want? I think if I were to boil it down to two things. It would be I want to make a positive impact on others, and I want to foster deeper connections with the people in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I think if those, not that they aren't at a good place right now, but just if those were the only two things that I could ask as a want, those would be the things I would want. And but I'm good with where they are now. I
Mm-hmm.
think. I mean, I made a post earlier today about not wanting to escape reality anymore because there were some things when I was in middle school and high school where video games or whatever where I would use it as a way to escape because it numbs negative emotions. It's a way to pull me out, a way for me to distract myself from whatever I was didn't want to feel. But I didn't even realize I was avoiding the emotions. I just knew that like I liked playing the video game and it made me feel a little bit better. And but now I'm at a point where video games are fun every once in a while to play with a friend or something, but I don't even have like an inkling to play them most of the time because I don't feel the need to pull myself out of reality in any way. Like I enjoy watching shows with other people, but I never watch a show by myself usually.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I'm watching something on a computer, it's for learning usually. I'm pulling an idea from it. I'm, listening to a podcast, whatever, piecing things together, how it connects to my life, thinking about how I might be able to incorporate it into an issue I'm writing or something, but not in the way of like, I'm not trying to find things to write about. I'm watching it and seeing, is this going to connect to something I'm writing about right now? But yeah, the figuring it out is, I've been chasing that for a long time.
Stop.
I'm
Stop.
so logically hardwired that it's just like,
That's right.
it's my default mode, and it's really hard to stop myself from trying to do it. It's really hard.
It is. It is hard.
Like even this whole spirituality shift, I've thought my way into it. I didn't feel my way into it really, like a little bit through vulnerability and emotional
Mm.
authenticity and openness and stuff. And that's what helped me realize there's like a connection between the two of spiritual work and emotional work. But I never like I still thought my way logically into how spirituality could. I mean, the part one is literally a God-shaped hole, a rational argument for
Yeah, yeah,
spirituality. So I really think my way into a lot of things,
yeah.
and it's just the way I am. And it's both a blessing and a curse because I love the way my brain works, and
Mm-hmm.
I love the ability to connect ideas and the depth of thought that I have. But it's also like I can't turn it off, or I can in some circumstances, but it's very, very difficult. I have to actively try my best to put the brakes on it. And I feel like the whole emotional vulnerability, Joe Hudson, openness stuff that really spoke to me is because that isn't putting the brakes on anything. It's just like using a different pathway, I guess. Like it's like instead of trying to suppress all this thinking and like rumination and all this stuff, it's just instead of trying to close that off, I'm opening up to a different part. And then as a consequence, the other part sort of calms down. Like you can't think your way out of an emotional problem. I wasn't seeing the connection between or the difference between emotional problems and like thinking problems.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking problems aren't even really problems. Like you think your way through it and it's done. Like there's no emotion attached to it.
No.
It's just the decision. You just make it. The only time it's an issue is when you like don't have enough information to make the choice. which in that case, you just get the information and then you make the choice. Whenever you're struggling with something, that's not thought, that's emotions.
Yeah.
And that's when you need to sit with it or figure out what you're avoiding or resisting. And the annoying thing is that rumination and worrying and all this emotional avoidance stuff dresses itself up as thinking problems. And so then you think you can think your way out of it, and you can't. And because thinking works on so many other things, you're like, well, why can't I do it with this? And you try and slam the round peg into the square hole,
Yeah.
and you're like, why won't it fit?
That's right. Yeah.
And yeah, and I've heard a lot of this stuff before around vulnerability and authenticity and like uh, but it never clicked with me before because I wasn't at the place where I could accept it, I guess, or just it wasn't at the point where it like really ingrained into me. And I feel like that's just been the major shift over probably this past month or two, has been like that lesson finally hit me at the right time. And I feel like that is one advantage I have as to being constantly trying to figure it out, even though figuring it out is a bad thing generally, because you're trying to find the answers constantly and you're trying to, but in the constant figuring it out, I'm always listening to things, I'm always reading things, I'm always trying to piece things together, and eventually the same ideas resurface, but sometimes they resurface at the right time, and that's when it actually lands. Whereas, I might have heard the same thing 3 or 4 times before in a podcast, and it just in one ear out the other. But it sort of, even if I don't listen to it or ingrain the lesson at that time, it plants like a little bit of a seed that sticks with me, even if I don't realize it. And I think that's really what happened with my spirituality, is because I was atheist for a really long time. And then I was agnostic, but I was like pretty much just an atheist that was like, I might be wrong, but I still think I'm right. And then I got deeper into philosophy, and philosophy intersects with spirituality sometimes. I'd hear people talking about it and I'd be curious about it, but I'd still be like, that's a bunch of weird magical woo woo mystical stuff. But that got me thinking, and there was like a little, I think seed is probably the best word for it, but just a little seed that got planted there. And I didn't realize that at the time, and I don't think I only realized it recently, but like that little seed just sat there. It might have even been dormant for a while. And then I listened maybe to another podcast, maybe it was a year later even. Like, I don't know how long this has been going on, but I think this is the pattern that I realized that I was explaining in the issue, is that the little seed gets planted here, little seed gets planted here, still doesn't land, little seed gets planted here. Maybe it starts to grow a little bit, but it didn't go anywhere. Little seed gets planted here. And I think now I've realized, oh, wait, all those were seeds. And now there's something starting to grow. I don't know what it is, but because not forever, but for like pretty much my entire life, I just thought spirituality, I didn't need that. I just thought it was this part of me. I didn't even think of it as a part of me. I thought it was just like an other people thing. Like, other people are spiritual, I'm not a spiritual person, and I don't need that. I got my logic and my science and my facts and all that stuff. And I think like the big realization that is like probably the core thesis of the whole 2-part issue that I wrote recently is that spirituality is a part of me. It always has been a part of me. And I've only just realized that I've been ignoring it this entire time. And not only was I ignoring it, I ignored it so hard that I didn't even realize I was ignoring it. Like it was so far down that I had just almost completely cut it off, pretty much.
Yeah, or you were resisting it so much that it couldn't get to you.
That is another way of putting it. Yeah, like
You were trying to figure it out, and you weren't allowing
I
the.
was figuring it out so hard that it was,
It was stuck. It was stalled.
yeah,
You know what I used? Well, I still do. Every once in a while, when I just want to be and I want to be grounded, I take a drive into nature and I sit in the quiet. No technology, nothing. I go, I unplug, I take my shoes and my socks off, I plant my feet in the dirt, and I just sit. And so many things start to come clear. Get out of the electronics, get out of the world, get out of the buzz of the lights, the buzz of other people's energy, and just go and sit. Even being at the water's nice. Just leave the technology alone. It works for me. It might not work for a lot of people, but growing up in the country like I did, I just find nature and being in nature and listening to the birds and the quietness makes me think clear.
yeah,
Unplug. Don't try to figure it out. My little seeds in life, like your little seeds, we're all learning. And I can come back and talk about them now. There's been a lot of growth in my forest.
yeah.
That's why it was really hard for me to start.
The conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because,
it's like where do you even begin?
yeah,
That's fair.
yes, I've got, you know, 40 years up on you, but everything's hit me at all different times of my life.
Yeah,
So my seeds are my growth to where I am now. And I still go to nature. I still go to the quiet. I used to camp a lot
yeah.
and just,
I think the funny thing is that the lessons are learned in a linear way, but they aren't brought to you in a linear way.
no, they're brought to you when it's quiet.
It's
When
like
you,
a Christopher Nolan movie where it only makes sense once you reach the end, and then it's like a domino. It's like the whole movie they're just putting down dominoes one at a time, and you're really invested in it, and you're like, where is this going? You think you know where it's going, and at the end they just go, and
yeah,
the whole thing, and it all makes sense.
yeah,
And then you can look back through a second time, and the context of the whole experience changes because you realize it's not linear. If anything, it's probably like a circle because you can access it from different points.
mm-hmm. And sometimes you come back around, but you're looking at things different because you've grown more in self-being and quietness. My life is very quiet. When I'm not with people and I'm at home, I'm by myself. My TV isn't on. I'm sitting in a dark, quiet room, having a cup of tea, reflecting, being grateful. I think I'm grateful because I'm as grateful as I am because I don't need anything. I've got everything I need. And I'm at peace. That's why I truly believe at 61 years old, I'm actually going to start living my childhood and having fun. Because
It's great to hear.
when you're a child and you're growing and you want to learn and expand, well, you're in another,
No
you're wanting to grow.
expectations.
Yeah, I want to get a job. I got to get a career. I want to have a family. I've done all that. I'm out at the other end where it's like, now I can play.
Yeah.
I can go by side and go out in the wilderness and go play, and I can go fishing.
I think that's what play is just the ultimate
It is.
purest form of presence.
It is.
No
Being
expectations, no desires, no
Yeah.
No separation between like thought and expression. It's just instant.
Yeah.
When a kid has a feeling, they just express it instantly.
Yeah.
When they want to do something, they just do it instantly.
Yeah.
It's an effortless flow.
Yeah.
And we spend so much time trying to avoid things, especially silence. As you're saying, your life is quiet. I think silence is probably the most avoided
It is.
thing. And meditating is one way to do it. But even just like a small change that I think has been revolutionary in my life is, as painful it is for me to admit, because I love music, I love podcasts, it's been not putting my headphones on. Going for a walk, no headphones.
Mm-hmm.
Going for a run, no headphones. Going on the bus, no headphones. Lifting at the gym, no headphones. The only time now that I use headphones is when I'm intentionally sitting down to do something and I want to be fully immersed in it and have better sound quality. Or if I'm doing like a chore, I'll put on headphones to listen to a podcast or listen to music while I'm doing the chore, because it makes the chore more enjoyable,
Mm-hmm.
and because I already have the other times in my day where I do sit in the silence. But if you're never sitting in the silence, then you're just avoiding sitting in the storm of your mind. And you, like, there's a great analogy Naval Ravikant uses, and he says that meditation is like sitting down to go through the mailbox. And most people in their lives never spend a single moment even thinking about the mailbox or looking at the mailbox. And they've done that so long that when they do finally sit down to meditate, it's overwhelming, because the mailbox is crammed
Mm.
so full of stuff that they don't even know where to begin. But if you start, you sit with it, you let things come up, you let the mail start flicking through,
Mm-hmm.
you one day there will come a time when the mailbox is empty and there's nothing on your mind. But it's just it's so hard to see so many people struggling with things in their life, and it's because they're avoiding everything. They don't want to sit on the bus without music because they don't want to be alone with their thoughts. They don't want to uh, go for a walk without talking to somebody or listening to a podcast or whatever, because they don't want to be alone with their mind. And I haven't read the book yet. I did get it for Christmas. I'm really excited to read it, but even just the title is like a quote that I can't get out of my mind, which is, "Wherever you go, there you are."
Mm-hmm.
You can't escape your own mind. You can't avoid anything that's internal to you. And that's why all the internal work is so important, is because it quite literally is the medium through which you connect with everything in your life, because you are the only common denominator in your entire life. And if you neglect yourself, then you won't realize it, but that leaks out into all other areas.
Mm-hmm. It kind of takes you back to that. You got to put your mask on first before you're good to anybody else.
Yeah.
Self-care. That's something else I learned at an early age. Self-care. Taking time for yourself. Doing things that you want to do. Staying with it your whole life. It's hard, you veer because of relationships, kids, life. But I always come back to it. Being alone, like when I want to be alone in my own time, that's my self-care. That's taking care of my needs. I like to be alone. I like to be quiet. I like to be in not figuring out my stuff, but feeling my stuff. Like, why am I upset? Or just staying in the muck.
Yeah.
If people, like you said, they hide behind headphones on the bus, um, always talking to people to avoid being by themselves. Alcohol, drugs,
Yeah, that's another big one.
huge.
Scrolling.
Yeah. Like when I get home, my phone it's down, it's done, it's gone. Yes, for my job, I need to be in communications and what have you, expected. But electronics doesn't control me. A lot of the times, I don't even have my TV on when I'm home. I make my tea, I get my pajamas on, I sit in my chair. I have a little rock light that has very light ambient light, and my world is calm. Quiet is so I I know that everything is energy. I learned that at an early age also. Table's energy, the wall's energy, the picture's energy. There's times when I can sit in my room that's really quiet and hear a lot of things. I can be out in nature. Sometimes being in the quiet is very loud if you learn to listen. Birds, crows, sometimes not even the sound of birds, you can just hear their wings. Sitting at a lake, listening to loons off in a distance, listening to somebody paddling a boat.
The wind
The wind.
tickling its way through the leaves and the branches.
Yeah, nature, quiet can be loud if you learn to listen, but very beautiful and grounding. I've just learned that grounding is important. That's when a lot of things will really come to light. I don't know how many times I've just been out in my boat, sitting on a lake, not even fishing, and I'm just, going through bait or lures or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I get it now. Something I was pondering or asked, 2 years ago. It's like, oh, because I was quiet enough to let it in and let it through and wasn't thinking about it, it's usually when it comes. You get those. That's why people go, oh, I got the aha moment.
Shower thoughts.
Right. Well, voila. There's proof right there. Quiet your mind and let it come to you.
Yeah, shower thoughts, or right when you're about to go to sleep.
There's been times where I've had fun with that. I will put something out to the universe and I go, okay, now you got to chase me because I'm leaving. So it's almost like I am running away from my question, and I make it a game. Right? No, can't get me. Duck into my truck and I'm driving to the beach or something. Nope, can't get me yet. So just reverse the roles. I've just learned to have fun. Everything is fun. There's not a lot that gets me upset anymore. There isn't, Maybe if I go to a gas station one time and I'm halfway through a road trip and they're out of fuel, maybe I might get but maybe I'll
a little peeved.
Yeah, but I'll still find like, okay, well, there's a reason there's no gas. What am I avoiding that could happen down the road? Because ever since that experience of that accident, I've learned that, okay, there's a reason something's keeping me put.
Mm-hmm.
Because I swear I would have been in that accident if I wasn't stopped with all that other, some of the cars I recognize were, ahead of us. But to veer off to get fuel and water and snacks and get back on the road, I probably might have been a statistic. Yeah. So I just, don't figure it out. Just take the ride and have fun with it. Go make mistakes. Yeah. I remember my grandfather going, I'd come in and I was building a birdhouse and it looked horrible. My grandpa's like, that's good. That's awesome. What do you think you could do better? And I'm like, take my time. Wonderful. Go take your time.
Do that the next time.
Yeah.
Iterate.
Yeah. Or, I'm like, no, I can fix my own flat tire. Okay. There's a couple screwdrivers, the patch kit or whatever. The air's still leaking out. Okay, well, what could we do better?
Yeah.
Just silly, make the mistakes. Life, there's a lot of patch kit we got to do through our lives.
Yeah, if everything went right all the time, there'd be nothing to learn.
Exactly. And that's what people have to learn. And to sit and be okay with the quiet. Get rid of the electronics. It's okay to put it away. I mean, back in my day, the only phone we had was stuck to the wall of the house, or you scrambled to find a payphone somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, I remember my kids going, well, I said, well, I'd leave school on a Friday and I wouldn't see my friends till Monday. And they'd be like, huh? And I'd be like, well, how did you talk? We didn't.
There was no talking.
There was no talk. There was no cell phones. There was no.
Unless you made plans on the weekend.
Yeah.
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 To
Just. Oh.
connect back to that, like the putting your own mask on first thing.
Self care.
Yeah. I like the term self-fullness. Like, it was from one of the Modern Wisdom episodes with Matthew McConaughey, and I don't remember the story exactly, but someone was accusing him of being full of himself, and he said, "Well, yeah. What else am I supposed to be full of?"
Yeah. That's exactly.
And that's why I like the term self-fullness, because I think it encapsulates this idea. It's not like you're not being selfish, but it's like self-care, self-love. But those terms are so like overused, and there's people have ideas of what they mean. But like self-fullness is like, it is that filling your own cup so that your cup can overflow onto others. It's the giving from a place of fullness and like, I'm trying to think of the word. Like, you're not giving from a place of expecting to receive back. You're just giving for the sake of giving. Like, I think grace is probably a good word for it. Like, you're giving from grace. Like the difference between like a gift and a grace. Like a gift would be like an exchange of something, and a grace is just freely given.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I like the term self-fullness, to encapsulate that idea.
Yeah.
Because you can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't help people if you're not going to help yourself first.
That's right. You're
And
no good.
You sometimes, when you're being self-full, it feels mean and it feels like the wrong thing to do. Like sometimes the right answer feels wrong, but it's necessary.
Mm-hmm. Self care is very important. The way I look at it, I just refer to it as self care.
Yeah.
You know, Jim Carrey said something once that stuck with me since the day I heard it was, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Yeah. It's always stuck with me. That was powerful. Because people will go, oh, my life sucks, and this happens, and I got kicked out, and got to move, my car's broken down. Why? Why is that happening? You know, it's not like the universe goes out to sabotage everybody. So look at it different. Life happens for you to gain knowledge, gain wisdom, gain momentum, help others later with knowledge, or hey, this kind of worked for me. But ever since I heard that, it has stuck with me, and it's so true. It never happens to you, it happens for you.
Or as Tony Robbins says, your life is what you pay attention to,
Mm-hmm.
and how you perceive what you pay attention to.
Yeah.
Which is, an idea I was touching on back in, what was I, like 38 or 39, with the noticing the yellow, noticing the red, like that thought experiment where you're sitting in the room and it's like, try and find as many red things as you can in the room. And then you take a few seconds, you look around, you're like, oh, those books over there are red. The ink on my tattoo is red. There's some red over there, whatever. But then afterwards, it's like, okay, what was yellow? And you're like,
Yeah.
you can't think of anything.
Yeah.
And it's what you focus on that determines how you view everything. And when you focus on the negatives, everything seems to just be going worse and worse.
Yeah. That's exactly it. but there's going to be things that go worse. But why? Stay with it, because there's always a teaching at the end of it. There's always a lesson. For me, it always has been. I can always reflect back and go, "Oh, okay, all right, I get it now. Thank you," and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for everything I've had to go through and everything I got. My life's pretty nice. Yeah, I'm not rich, and yeah, I'm not, but I don't care. I got everything I need, and I'm grateful for everything I need.
If more money wouldn't make you happier, then you're already rich.
Yeah, I am. Like, I'm so grateful for everything and everybody in my life. Yeah, I've been choosy. My circle's very small, but it's
It's the way you want it.
it's the way I want it. I want people like you, people that want to learn and grow around me. I don't want whiners, complainers, drama. I don't want any of that. That stuff doesn't attract me. And that's a lot of the population.
And I
So,
hope they find their way, but
yeah, well, you
some
know
of them
what?
won't.
Sometimes we're put in a group to talk about things to maybe inspire people to start to grow or to be intrigued or, oh, that's kind of interesting. Start like how you started. Oh, that's interesting. That's a different way of looking at it, or it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, but yet I'm
Curiosity.
curious, right? Sometimes we pass through those. Those are the people that, there's people that come in and out of our lives. Sometimes maybe I've started a few people on a path of, oh, hang on, he is calm. I kind of like his energy. I like being around that. So how do I achieve that? They may never ever see me again, but maybe that was just a little kickstart they needed. There'll be lots of people in your lifetime that they might be inspired about how you talk or curious about your thoughts. They may never ever see you again, but 10 years down the road, it's like, I remember you. Yeah. Um,
Yeah. I don't want to be a teacher or a guru, or I don't want to sell courses or help people uh, step by step on all these are all the things you need to do. My entire mission with my content, and well, I guess it not how it started, but the mission I've sort of discovered through making content and through reflecting on what I want to make, what kind of content I want to put into the world, what kind of impact I want to have with my content, with my newsletter, with this podcast, with everything. The mission is I want to at least get people thinking about how they can change their own lives. And if all I do is spark that initial shift in curiosity or agency or thinking about what they can actually do to change their own lives, then that's enough. If I
yeah.
can, and even if I can just help one person, that is enough for me. The more the better, but one person is enough. And I don't want to hold their hand the whole way. I want to let them enact the change within their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
And and like, I want them to realize that they have the power to do everything they want to achieve. I'm just here to spark that change when they're stuck in that place of negativity and thinking that the world is meaningless and they don't know what to do with their lives and they don't know what they want out of life, and everything seems, there's like, oh, there's politics and there's the economy and there's all these things bogging you down. Look inside and ask yourself how you can happen to life instead of having life happen to you.
Mm-hmm. Or what are you hiding from
Yeah. Or
that you
what are
have
you
to
hiding
cloud
from?
your, yeah. What are you hiding from that's clouding it?
Look inside, because
Mm-hmm.
there'll be something in there. The answer is in you.
Mm-hmm.
If you sit with it long enough, or if you are open to it enough,
Mm-hmm.
you ask the question and the answer will find its way to you.
I I always wanted to be like my grandmother. She always taught me we're not here to fix people.
Yeah.
Your job isn't to fix your wife, fix people that are whining. And I never really knew what she meant until I learned what she used to do with me. I would come home, I would have questions, I was frustrated, I was, trying to learn like you or whatever, trying to get the shortcut to the
Mm-hmm.
the goose egg. But I would be sitting outside and she would just come and sit next to me, not say anything. She'd have a cup of tea and she's like, she'd be curious. She was always curious, like, so what's going on? And I'd be like, oh, this happened. And the, I felt judged. And she's like, that's interesting. Wow, you must have been a little frustrated today. And I'm like, yeah, I was. But she would allow me the space and the safety just to talk and express myself and stay in my frustrations. She never tried to go, oh, now that's good. That's just growing up. That's being a boy, kind of like most,
Parents would.
parents would. She would teach me to stay in my frustration or stay in my disappointment or stay in my sadness to help me work through it. Because I have found that most of the time we aren't seeking to be fixed, because if we're allowed safety and to be vulnerable and talk through it, sometimes we're like,
We
oh,
just figure it out.
we just figure it out.
You express the emotion and the clarity comes out the other
Yeah.
side.
And just to sit and like, there were times I would get up when I was little. I'm like, what good were you? Sit there drinking her tea, cross legged, looking another way.
You aren't helping me at all. Yeah.
Screw you, Grandma. Yeah. And then it wasn't again until I was older or a parent myself. I'm like, oh, I know what she was doing.
Yeah.
Clever old boot, right? And I just, not even knowing it, I just held space for people. I was just always, sitting next to somebody and letting them talk and not fixing them, not trying to, oh, well, that's just life, that's just politics, or that's just work. Just let them talk. And 99% of the time, they would get up and go, wow, thanks for listening. I feel so much better. Glad I could help. You don't say it like that, but it's really like, I didn't do anything. I just held space. I was curious.
And if they're having trouble, like thinking about, like they're talking to you, they're having trouble expressing, you just ask them, well, how are you feeling about that?
Yeah.
Or where do you think that's coming from?
Yeah, exactly. That's the curiosity. And I have been thanked so many times for just, wow, like, thanks for helping me. And I'm like, I'm thinking, wow, I didn't really help you. I just held space for you.
A lot of people don't get that.
They don't. I didn't either. I thought, good as grandma, just sitting there enjoying her tea, not even listening to me.
No, they don't get that space held for them in other areas, in most areas of their life. So when they do get it, they're like,
it's unfamiliar.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you telling me what I should be doing? Or like,
no shoulds.
Help me get out of this. So it's not for me to help you get out of it. It's just for me to help hold space for you to help you get out of it, not me to help you get out of it. You need to help yourself.
Yeah.
And that's I've just not knowing it, I've just become that. I'm curious. I hold space. I just, it's a powerful tool, and it takes no knowledge to learn.
I think that's my primary mission of Kaizen. I don't want to fix people, but I see all of the hurt and confusion and suffering people are going through, and the lost meaninglessness that they feel. And I just want to help them realize how they can achieve what they want to. But it's theirs to do, theirs to realize, theirs to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I want to spread through my message is that you have the ability to change your life. And That's pretty much it.
And that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
I wake up a lot of the times, I'm grateful. I say good morning to the universe. I list off things I'm grateful for. And I'm like, all right, my goal today is I'm going to put a smile on one person's face. I'm going to make one person feel good today. Most of the time it's more than one, but it's just, yeah. I have no complaints of my life. There was times I had complaints about my journey, but I didn't understand it then.
Yeah.
But I learned not to figure it out. Yeah, just enjoy the ride and make it chase you sometimes. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
Make it chase you.
Don't figure it out. Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I
This was
really enjoyed the
fun. Yeah,
conversation.
it was fun. Sorry it was a slow start.
It's all good.
Trying to figure out where to start because
It's a dense forest to walk into.
it's and we all start out different.
Yeah.
I started out by not book smart and not, with my dyslexia, I had a disadvantage of learning like you do. So a lot of mine had to be self-taught to me by lessons of the life. And I hid away.
Experiential learning.
Yeah, and I hid away from people for a very long time because I was embarrassed that I couldn't read and write. Because at my time when I was younger, there was no diagnosis for dyslexia in school. It was just the kid's not applying, he's being an idiot, we're going to kick him out.
Mm.
But yet that was one of my fears that I ran from for a while until I was taught not to. Sit with it. Let it come to you. Meditate. And that's where actually I learned to meditate. My grandmother said, we're going to sit and you're going to let that fear come to you. And each time it did, it just got bounced back quicker. I gave it back. I just gave it back. And then I learned to be okay with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was fun.
Yeah. Thanks for the conversation.
No
I hope everyone got something out of it.
Cheers.